Hello, welcome to Go Bros. I'm Philip.
And I'm Luke.
Today's episode is going to be about some things that we've learned recently, the future of the Oculus Go, and what they announced at OC6. How are you feeling, Luke?
Brokenhearted and sad. We have to mourn a loss.
And not only we had to mourn a loss, but we just recently did an episode that was really good about Hulu.
Yeah.
And it really kind of pumped us up, gave us something to look forward to try something we hadn't done like ever on the go, and getting others involved. And finishing editing the episode, I reached out to Facebook and Reddit and asked people, hey, did you even know you could do this? And most of the people I surveyed said they didn't even know that multiplayer was a thing in Hulu.
Yeah. In fact, some of the comments on that, people had some pretty bad reviews of Hulu. And I got to say, the Hulu VR side of the Hulu app, which we didn't actually review at all because it wasn't multiplayer, it wasn't social. It really is weak. Okay. Look, to be honest, we didn't talk about this much in the app, but the VR side of the Hulu app is meh.
The interface. It doesn't.
Not the interface. Yeah. There's two views. Like you can go experience. Like they have like 360 stuff in there.
I never even have gone in there.
We've never even. Well, I've gone in there, but it's all single player focused. But our review was all about the multiplayer social aspect of Hulu, which apparently people didn't know about, and it's totally cool. There's a catch, and that is the only way to launch the multiplayer aspect of Hulu is in Oculus Rooms. And we learned something about Oculus Rooms. I'm sure you all got the wonderful email, but they're killing it dead. It's gone.
So frustrating. We've talked many times on this show, and I've seen other people talk about it on Discords and Reddits and Facebook groups about how cool Rooms could be if Oculus did some changes.
If they gave a crap. Right? Quite honestly, it could be cool.
And then months ago, they gave us a brand new add-on to Rooms. We were all so excited, but it was only Monopoly. And I love Monopoly. And not only was it just only Monopoly, but it ran like balls. It's just...
well, I felt like it ran great. And you get the added benefit of you can like make grilled cheese on your go while playing Monopoly. It's a really cool feature. It's not a bug.
I could never play that a full game without getting some frozen food or an ice pack and holding it on my go.
The number of times I heard you say, "Hold on, I have to go grab an ice pack to put on my go." It happened way too much. But the game was a good game. It's just you couldn't play it because they tried to put too many bells and whistles into it.
So many people loved Rooms and would have used Rooms, and they could have monetized Rooms by just giving us a big screen TV. If they had just got big screen TV, just on the TV, and they had partnered with Atari, if they had just put Atari games on there, I'm talking even crap like E.T., you can tell I'm getting fired up here. People would have purchased and spent money to get those games if they could have sat in Oculus Rooms and played with their friends. But instead, Oculus did nothing to encourage the social aspect of Rooms at all. And then just, it's gone.
We've talked about Rooms a lot, and this isn't necessarily about Rooms. This episode is going to be about so much more than Rooms. But it is something that I think Facebook needs to keep in mind, like they are listening to us at all, but something they need to keep in mind in the future, which was the concept of Rooms is a good concept. And you can do all the things of Rooms through other apps, but you have to use so many different apps to do it. Like Rooms it's like VTime meets venues meets big screen meets, I don't know, VR chat. Like it can be all those types of things. The problem was Oculus and Facebook, they tried to do that through so many different things. Like venues, I still, to this day, I've mentioned it in many episodes, I don't like how they've done venues. I would rather experience the content of venues inside of Oculus Rooms. I don't really care to watch a venue with a bunch of strangers who were talking about who knows what, and a bunch of middle schoolers who quite honestly annoy the crap out of me. Sorry if you're watching. But I'd like to watch those events with friends and family that I can invite into my room, like I would invite them to my house. Rooms, the content is great. You talked about like in-app purchases. There's so many things I could have done with that as far as just like even the decor. I would have loved to have some add-ons I could put on a shelf or on the wall, some kind of add-on to that. That would have been great to make that your own space and customize it. And the fact that they're getting rid of it, they're getting rid of it and they're not replacing it with anything. And that is what's blowing my mind, because they did the same thing with they had on the Rift, wasn't it, spaces on the Rift and rooms on the Go. And so they've always had, for Facebook, who wants to connect everybody to everything, it seems odd that they're creating all of these very siloed experiences that don't connect to anything when their whole
it's crazy they haven't figured out a way to connect their own community.
Right. And now, so let's jump into like Oculus 6. Oculus 6 came out. If you haven't watched it, there's CNET does this really great condense. They do this for Facebook. They do this for Oculus. They do this for Apple. They do it for Microsoft, where they condense the whole thing. And I watched everything you need to know about Oculus Connect 6 in 12 minutes. And it's great. It's the whole thing in 12 minutes.
That's excellent, because it was not worth the 4 hours of footage there is total.
It's not. So watch that. Search YouTube for CNET Oculus 6 12 minutes, and you will find it. And there's everything you needed to know is in there. But it was amazing to be able to talk about Facebook Horizon, which again is a really cool concept, but it feels like they're trying to make that like alt space. Yeah, a lot of things they described, it was what alt space is or what VR chat is. But
let's pause for just a minute, because some people watch our shows and they don't watch anything else and might not be up on it. But this Facebook Horizons thing is like the new social space,
right?
But
they're
it's
trying
only
to create
going to be on
space.
Yeah, it's only going to be on Quest and Rift,
right? So, which leads us. So again, they're creating this divide, right? Now, if you haven't seen our video where we talk about the interview with what's the guy's name? The article
Carmack?
we read.
No, it wasn't Carmack. Ruben. No, John Ruben.
Ruben. Go back and watch that. We talk a little bit about what his comments for the future of Go, and we made a couple of guesses. And it does feel like, to me, Facebook has made a very clear decision at this point. Like they're selling the Go and the Quest and the Rift, and they're still selling all three. But what they're basically telling you, and Mark Zuckerberg even basically said it from the stage, was you really should only buy a Quest. There's no reason to buy a Rift because the Quest is a Rift. So just buy this cool cable and now your Quest can be a Rift.
Yep.
And then they're putting they're shutting down Rooms and putting all their effort into Horizon, which won't work on the Go. It really feels to me like they've taken their focus off the Go, and therefore is going to take all the developers' focus off the Go, which is kind of a bummer.
If I could play devil's advocate for a bit, Facebook, Oculus, they're not morons. I'm sure they have some great data that says, and just from small polls in the small communities I'm part of, that says Oculus Go owners are just watching media, and they don't want to do it with other people. That's the thing. I mean, sure, some people are out there wanting big screen to work on Go, and it kind of does now.
Yeah.
But that's the biggest thing, is people who have Go's don't want to play with strangers.
But here's
they don't
want to
watch movies with strangers.
That's like saying that Sonic Drive-In has statistics that say that people never want to go into a restaurant to eat. Well, they can't go into your restaurant to eat. It's a drive-in. That only option is to drive in. If that is the only option Facebook is giving people on the Go, then of course that is what the people are doing. And Facebook, who is supposed to be the social networking giant, did such a poor job about figuring out how to make the things work socially. If they were giving people the venue to work socially within the Go, like in Rooms or any other options, that I think would have changed the data. They just never put enough investment into the Go or into Rooms to where people like Dad would go in there with us. Like we we have, you're in one state, I'm in a different state, my dad's in another state. We all have the Go, and it's sad that it's really hard to find a way to socially interact on a Facebook product at all. Like this is like we can't interact socially in that product, especially now they're taking rooms away.
Doesn't it seem weird though that they're doing all of this in like 1 year? I mean, the Go, how old is the Go? Was it 2017 or 2018 that it came out?
I don't know. It's not old, but I mean, again, to be fair, they were pushing the technology pretty early, right? The all-in-one headset, there were a lot of doubters when that came out. Like the whole idea that they were working on it, people were like, that's not possible. And then they did it, and then they made the technology even better. I mean, as the technology improves, that stuff kind of happens. And I will say the 6 degrees of freedom on a Quest makes a lot of sense. And if you can get all the benefits of a Go plus 6 degrees of freedom, it makes sense to put that into the Quest and put all your eggs in that basket. It is interesting to me that they decided to go that route. I wish they would have gone that route from the beginning versus creating 3 different interfaces. And now are saying, okay, we're really only going to put our focus on this one. And it kind of leaves both the Rift users feeling like, well, crap, why did I spend so much money on this? And it leaves the Go users like, well, why did even though this isn't as expensive, it's the cheaper of the 3, I feel like it's worth nothing at this point because I'm going to miss out on all of the new experiences that they're not even going to try to make it work here.
And some people aren't even batting an eye. They're just like, okay, I got the Go. The Go is great. I'm already ready to upgrade to the Quest. Just like people are willing to buy a new iPhone every year, a new Apple Watch every year. They're willing to drop that $500 every year. They don't care. They just want the best of the best. And maybe they can afford it. Maybe they can't. I can't necessarily do that. But it's just what's so hard about this is I'm sure on paper it makes such perfect business sense. It's just I'm sure I'm partial because I just love the Go so much. Not that it's the most perfect piece of technology out there, but it's perfect for what it is. The fact that it's this portable little unit and that nearly anybody can pick it up and use it and have a good time. And the fact that it's connected you and me over the country, that our dad we get to hang out with regularly. And I say hang out because that's the thing about VR. You can hang out. We could all call each other up, but that's not hanging out. Even if we all played a game on PC together, that's not hanging out. Like we've done that. We've set up webcam.
And this
we all
is even
played
better
Jackbox
than
games.
FaceTime group chat. I mean, so yes, it does that very, very well. And I mean, like Vendetta Online, that episode is going to air, and I love Vendetta Online. I think it's a perfect fit for the Go. It's great. Now, having said all that, it's going to be interesting to see, like, Hulu, do they even choose to update their app at this point? Because that was the only way to get it to work in multiplayer. So do they even update it? I don't know. But obviously the changes happened. We embrace it, right? Okay, what are the good things that we learned from that? And projections, Adam Savage's tested crew from Projections, they did a lot of good feedback. They were on site with the Oculus 6 convention. And they had some really great things to say about it, and they've been playing with some of the new technology. And I will say that ultimately the change that's happening, it makes sense. It's sad that the changes they're making, the way in which they're doing it, and shutting things down without giving a lot of alternatives. It would have been nice to create. I don't know. For as much as I don't really like alt space because of the audience per se, it is great at being cross-platform. Like that to me is genius. It feels like the Quest, Facebook is finally saying, we have a piece of technology that can meet the needs that all 3, that the Rift and the Go were doing. Let's make one that can do what both of them do and just focus on this moving forward. So I do believe, even though they haven't officially shut down the Go and they haven't officially shut down the Rift, I think it's a pretty fair assessment to say that they're going to. Like, I can't imagine them putting a whole lot more effort into either of those, where their goal is going to be, let's put it all into the Quest moving forward. You can hook it up to your computer and make it a gaming PC, or make it a gaming system. So if you didn't know, you can hook your Quest up, or will be able to hook your Quest up to your gaming PC and play all of your Rift games on the Quest. And they're going to put a Go emulator on there too.
That's a pattern of technology, though, if you think about it. If you think,
Yeah.
like, there was the Game Boy, and then there was the Game Boy Super Nintendo add-on, where you could play the Game Boy portably, but then you could put the Game Boy into the Super Nintendo cartridge and play on your big TV.
Yep.
There's, just iPhone games you could play on your iPhone, but then Apple TV synced those up, and now you can play the same games on the Apple TV.
Yep.
The Wii U. The Wii U came out to where you had a handheld tablet where you can play on your TV or on the Wii U, and then the Nintendo Switch. So the ability to be able to play, have a quick, easy, portable experience, and then there's the ability now that you can plug the Quest into your PC if you have a VR-ready PC to have the best of the best VR experience.
And all that to say is, again, if you haven't watched the CNET 12-minute review, you definitely should, because the things that they're working on at Facebook, all of a sudden now we're getting it to where I want VR to be. So it seems to me that it's safe to say you would agree that the future is the Quest, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a safe assessment. If you're on the fence, should I get the Go? Should I get the Quest? A week ago, I would have told you, if you're not sure, go get the Go and start with that. But now I'm telling you, I'd have to change my system. If you have no VR in your life and you're looking to start getting into VR, you should probably save your money and get the little bit more expensive Quest versus the Go.
I'm going to disagree there. Like, I was just telling somebody about this a few days ago. I told several people. I told my wife first because I thought about it in bed, and then I told some other people online. But if someone came up to me right now and said, here's $400, you can go buy someone a Quest, or spend that $400, and we've already polled all your families and friends, and here's 3 people that they would love to play with you on the go, and they'll get online with you right now if you go buy them a Go. And I say 3 people because I've bought 4 Goes now. I'm confident I could buy 3 Goes for $80 to $100 a piece, no problem right now, through eBay or Facebook or Craigslist. No problem, I can do it. Less than $100, Oculus Go. I would choose the option of, you've already polled my family and friends, and you found 3 people who will get on the go and play with me and be social and stuff. No problem. Wouldn't blink an eye. Give me that $400. I'll go buy 3 to 4 Goes. Give them those 3 or 4 people, and we'd be having a blast. Easy. So that would be my choice. Easy.
Then I totally get that. I do have a counter argument to that. But before I get to that, I will say some of the things that are coming to the Quest that, looking for the future, of why I think it's such a great option, and the technologies that they demoed, which are still in their early stages. One being the hand tracking. To me, that's huge. And there's some things that don't work well with it, because the hand tracking only works as if it can track your hands, right? But there is some cool things that can happen with that. Like, I am picturing Star Trek Bridge Crew that you can play on the Rift. Once that can be available on the Quest, and hand tracking is an option. For those of you who are Star Trek fans, I know that you all geek out because you're Star Trek fans, and that's what we do. And we've all had visions of sitting. That's why I like my office chair, because my office chair reminds me of the captain's chair. It's got the nice armrest. I can pivot it and see all parts of my bridge. I really enjoy it. Being able to put that headset on and be able to touch the screen with your fingers, there's a cool concept with that. In addition to that, one of the things that they're talking about, they demoed, that I am a huge fan of, is the idea of them being able to 3D model a room. With all the cameras that are on the Quest, you walk around a space, and also you could basically recreate the space almost easier than you could in CAD. Like, you all of a sudden, poof, your space is now a 3D world that you've recreated just by walking around it. The benefit being you can transport people into that space. So someone else could put on a Quest headset and be in your living room because you just scanned it in, uploaded the model, and now both of you can exist in the same space. To me, that's a really cool concept from a business work perspective. As someone who works remotely for a remote company, I could see some benefits of that, of us being able to sit together at a conference room table, and it's the same room, we can all see each other. The things that they demoed as far as being able to approximate your facial movements and your actual physical being versus just some random, cheesy avatar. There's some pretty cool things that they're doing that, again, still future, but to me is where we're getting closer to, as close as I think humankind would ever get to transporter technology. I think
Yeah.
I think holodecks might be a thing one day. Transporters will never be a thing. But this is as close as you would ever get to that. I mean, it really does feel like a holodeck. And so I think that is a huge benefit there.
One thing about that is the biggest thing with, and that's all stuff they were talking about last year too at OC5. So they haven't really made any big leaps and bounds, but they're expecting finger tracking to happen 2020.
Right.
That's pretty cool because I'm actually not a fan of the Quest touch controllers. Spoiler alert, Luke and I both have a Quest now. They would be excellent controllers for any type of real hardcore gaming experience, flight simulator, guns. That's cool. It does not feel as nice to me as the Go controller, because the Go controller is, it's basically a remote control. Like for your TV, it's small, it's nice, it doesn't involve a lot. It's a laser pointer, and I think
you can lose the strap of your Go controller and not feel bad. Yeah, I don't have mine.
I didn't even know that I had one until one day I saw someone in a video or picture with the strap on, and I'm like, phrasing, and I'm like, yeah, there's no reason to have one. But with the Quest, oh my goodness, you have those things them snug.
Yeah,
so snug.
Now here's the part I was mentioning. I was alluding to as far as why now that I've had the Quest and I've had it for 12 hours, so my experience with it is limited, and maybe we're going on to 24 hours. Something interesting happened today with my kids. I put them through the experience, and I will say, like, for me, I did the First Steps app, and the moment that I was able to be into a holodeck where I had the phaser and the floating things, it just took me back to my childhood of remembering that episode of Star Trek The Next Generation where they were in that same scenario, like almost that exact same layout. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm in a holodeck. Like, there was something special about the 6 degrees of freedom that, having only ever been on the Go, I didn't know I missed. But I still went back to the Go without any problem and played Vendetta online for another hour. But I had to go through the getting used to using the controls. And I even let, like, my oldest son and my middle son both use it, and they had struggled with it. But here's why I am so happy about the Quest, is I put this on my 5-year-old son, and he skipped the First Steps thing. Like, he just went right into using it, had no problem. He never had to be taught how to pick something up in a virtual world using he just did it. And I was like blown away. I was doing the casting on the phone and watching him do stuff, and I was just blown away. Like, he started dancing with the robot and grabbed the robot's hands without any tutorial on how to do that. And it occurred to me, like, I was watching him do what I feel like I've always been able to do. People come to me for help with computer programs and things like that. Like, how do I troubleshoot this and how do I troubleshoot that? And I just knew how to do it. I'm like, I don't know how to tell you how I learned that. I just it's been intuitive. I figured it out. And now I've become the old man watching my youngest son intuitively figure out VR, where I had to be taught how to do VR. And I still find the controls to be odd and not as comfortable. And he picked it up with no problem and danced around the entire. I had the Guardian set up to do 2 different rooms. It was one big space. Navigating a dining room table, he never bumped into anything, and he was bouncing around like a bouncy ball, just like all over the place, playing around. And it blew my mind that how just comfortable he was when he saw the Guardian walls come up and he moved around it and never bumped into anything, never clocked anything in the head. And so for me, how much he struggled with the Go and how easy it was for him with the Quest, it was as if it was night and day. And I feel like a lot of that has to do with the 6 degrees of freedom, that he couldn't understand that he had to stay still with the Go. But with the Quest, it could just become reality for him. And it was just, he just for like 30 minutes was having the time of his life. Blew me away.
That's so funny because I don't know how I was when I first started out on the Go, because I'm betting when we first started out on the Go, we had to realize too, but we picked up on it pretty quick. We had to realize too, I can't do these things because it's 3 degrees of freedom. Right. It's so funny. I don't remember what game I was in, but so many things, like there's something on the floor and I can't pick it up. Why can't I reach this thing on the floor? And I realized, I have to squat down. Just like in real life, you gotta squat down and pick the thing up. Like, I want to use the force and it to come up to me. It's like, it's 6'd off now. I gotta squat down. And that's some things about this that I'm not in love with the Quest. I still have not found anything that's near as fun for me as on the Go, which is sad, because to try out something on the Quest, you're dropping $15.
Yeah.
For at least a new experience. What's crazy is this experience I'm already used to. that I paid 4 to 10 for are going to be 10 to 15 on the Quest now, because the Quest it's a higher dollar. Which, good news, if you haven't heard, some of those Go apps you'll be able to upgrade for free onto the Quest. But I'm still, my main love is still the Go. If I wanted to play a shooter right now, I'd still be going to Fire Zone. Now there's a new shooter that I am playing that I think once I get used to, I will love. I've already forgotten the name of it, but it starts with an S, and they just released multiplayer on the day that we're recording this. But it's a mixture of swords and guns, and it seems like a lot of stuff on the Quest has more of a learning curve too than the Go.
Yeah. All in all, I would say it was an interesting. This last week has been interesting between OC6 and Facebook shutting down Rooms, but then also turning the Quest into the Rift. All those things combined, it was definitely an odd week for VR. And the Go Bros, we decided we're still going to be the Go Bros. We still love our Goes. We're still going to review the Goes. We have made a decision that as we review these, we're going to keep the Quest in mind as well. So you'll start seeing us review things from both. But we also really want to see some environments where you can do cross play as well. And again, for us, it's about the social experience. We're going to be coming at everything we review with that in mind. How does this work socially? For me, I don't want VR to become that world where you put this blinder over your eyes and we're in our own little world again. To me, VR it can give us a future where we don't have to live next door to somebody to connect with somebody. I can connect with my friends and family, and it feels like it's in person without it being a person. Like, that's the world I want to live in, and I want to see us move more towards that. And games are great, and we'll review those, I'm sure. But to me, it's going to be about the social experiences, not necessarily just the individual solo games.
Because what's the point of life just going about and enjoying something for yourself?
I feel like if you haven't played virtual reality, that's what I don't want us to become. Like, I feel like the virtual reality experience on the Go, it's a story that you need. I'm not going to spoil it. You got to play that. But to me, I think that it hits really close to home with where we're headed with things like VR, like what we can become if we're not careful with VR, where everything is a solo experience and it's so immersive that people get lost in it and don't ever leave it. And I feel like there's an opportunity for VR to do the opposite of that and to help us to connect to others. Which you would think a company like Facebook wants that to be their goal. It just, I guess right now all of our eggs are in the Facebook Horizons basket, and we'll see how that turns out.
Yeah. Well, this has been a very long, interesting episode, and I think it's probably good that we wrap it up. But I would love to hear what y'all say in comments. I've been doing some thought about this, and Luke, I don't even know if I've mentioned it to you, although we've talked about it in the past. We talked about maybe one day doing a podcast, but a lot of times we talk about some really cool things on the show, and a lot of our episodes I feel like could easily be just downloaded and listened to, and you can just hear what we say about the apps and experiences and then go try them out. You don't have to necessarily visually see them. And I know a lot of people, when they watch YouTube, they're multitasking, so they're not always watching the videos either. So let me know in comments about how you would feel about us putting our episodes down in an easy to download, subscribe to podcast format. Probably be on iTunes because that's what we're familiar with. But and then who knows? Maybe we'll do some just podcast only episodes, which is essentially what this is. I mean, we're just having a discussion. There's no real gameplay footage that we're doing right now.
Right. Yeah, we definitely would like to hear from you guys in the comments, and what your thoughts are. Feel free to let us know what you think about this. Did you go get any other insights from OC6? And where do you think the future of VR is headed? We'd love to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, and if you've been watching our episodes and other people's episodes on the go, and you're like, shoot, I've been just holding off and saving my pennies, well, you know what? You can get a Go for really dang cheap right now, and who knows what type of sales will happen when we get closer to the holidays, if Oculus will do anything for the new units. But seriously, you can get a used unit now, at least in the United States, where I'm at, for wicked cheap. So you can get one for yourself, send some to loved ones, and reconnect with those loved ones that, hey, I'm not big on just talking on the phone, but if I had an activity that I could interact with somebody and you'd reconnect with a friend or loved one, spend that $80, spend that $100, go buy yourself a go buy them a go, and reconnect. And who knows? Then maybe you'll decide, you know what? Maybe I'll do what the Go Bros did, and maybe I'll check out the Quest too. But trust me, you'll love the Go.
That's right. In the meantime, hit that thumbs up to let us know you like this video, and while you're leaving a comment below, and subscribe to our channel. It definitely helps us out. If you've been watching our videos, hitting that subscribe button just helps us be able to produce more content. And you can learn more about the Go Bros and our Patreon page at gobros.tv.
Yeah, and we never say this, but share the video. I mean, share
it
to your Facebook page. Because, if we get more people viewing it and subscribing it, we love reviewing these apps. We reviewed an exercise bike app recently. A developer reached out to us. So we love when developers can reach out to us. But they're not likely to reach out to a channel with less than 1,000 subscribers usually. So the more you share, the more we get to share. So
that's right.
So again, I guess this has been another episode of Go Bros. I'm Philip.
And I'm Luke, and we will see you in the next episode.
See ya.